In orthography and typography, letter case is the distinction between the letters that are in larger uppercase and smaller lowercase in the written representation of certain languages. Here is a comparison of the upper and lowercase versions of each letter included in the English alphabet. Typographically, the basic difference between the majuscules and minuscules is not that the majuscules are big and minuscules small, but that the majuscules generally have the same height. The height of the minuscules varies, as some of them have parts higher or lower than the average, i.e., ascenders and descenders. In Times New Roman, for instance, B, D, F, H, K, L, T are the letters with ascenders, and G, J, P, Q, Y are the ones with descenders. Further to this, with old-style numerals still used by some traditional or classical fonts, although most do have a set of alternative lining figures, 6 and 8 make up the ascender set, and 3, 4, 5, 7 and 9 the descender set. Letter case is often prescribed by the grammar of a language or by the conventions of a particular discipline. In orthography, the uppercase is primarily reserved for special purposes, such as the first letter of a sentence or of a proper noun, which makes the lowercase the more common variant in text. In mathematics, letter case may indicate the relationship between objects, with uppercase letters often representing superior objects. Engineering design drawings are typically labeled entirely in uppercase letters, which are easier to distinguish than lowercase, especially when space restrictions require that the lettering be small. Terminology. The terms uppercase and lowercase can be written as two consecutive words, connected with a hyphen, or as a single word. These terms originated from the common layouts of the shallow drawers called typecases used to hold the movable type for letterpress printing. Traditionally, the capital letters were stored in a separate case that was located above the case that held the small letters, and the name proved easy to remember since capital letters are taller. Majuscule, for paleographers, is technically any script in which the letters have very few or very short ascenders and descenders, or none at all, by virtue of their visual impact. This made the term majuscule an apt descriptor for what much later came to be more commonly referred to as uppercase letters. Minuscule refers to lowercase letters. The word is often spelled minuscule, by association with the unrelated word miniature and the prefix mini. This has traditionally been regarded as a spelling mistake, but is now so common that some dictionaries tend to accept it as a non-standard or variant spelling. Minuscule is still less likely, however, to be used in reference to lowercase letters. Bicameral script. Most Western languages use letter cases in their written form as an aid to clarity. Scripts using two separate cases are also called bicameral scripts. Many other writing systems make no distinction between majuscules and minuscules, a system called unicameral script or unicase. This includes most syllabic and other non-alphabetic scripts. The Georgian alphabet is special since it used to be bicameral, but today is mostly used in a unicameral way. If an alphabet has letter case, all or nearly all letters have both forms. Paired forms are considered variants of the same letter. They have the same name and pronunciation and will be treated identically when sorting in alphabetical order. The glyphs of lowercase letters can resemble smaller forms of the uppercase glyphs restricted to the baseband or can look hardly related. In scripts with a case distinction, lowercase is generally used for the majority of text. Capitals are used for capitalization and emphasis. In addition, acronyms and initialisms are often written in all caps, depending on various factors in English. Capitalization. Capitalization is the writing of a word with its first letter in uppercase and the remaining letters in lowercase. Capitalization rules vary by language and are often quite complex, but in most modern languages that have capitalization, the first word of every sentence is capitalized, as are all proper nouns. Capitalization in English, in terms of the general orthographic rules independent of context, is universally standardized for formal writing. In English, capital letters are used as the first letter of a sentence, a proper noun, or a proper adjective. There are a few pairs of words of different meanings whose only difference is capitalization of the first letter. The names of the days of the week and the names of the months are also capitalized, as are the first-person pronoun I, and the interjection O. Other words normally start with a lowercase letter. There are, however, situations where further capitalization may be used to give added emphasis, for example in headings and titles. In some traditional forms of poetry, capitalization has conventionally been used as a marker to indicate the beginning of a line of verse independent of any grammatical feature. Other languages vary in their use of capitals. For example, in German all nouns are capitalized, while in Romance and most other European languages the names of the days of the week, the names of the months, and adjectives of nationality, religion and so on normally begin with a lowercase letter. Exceptional letters in digraphs. The German letter SS orthographically only exists in lowercase, as it never occurs at the beginning of a word. In all caps style, SS is normally replaced by the digraph SS. The Greek uppercase letter, sigma, has two different lowercase forms, sigma in word final position and sigma elsewhere. In a similar manner, the Latin uppercase letter, S, used to have two different lowercase forms, S in word final position and elsewhere. The latter form, called the long S, fell out of general use before the middle of the 19th century, except for the countries that continued to use black letter typefaces such as Fraktur. When black letter type fell out of general use in the mid-20th century, even those countries dropped the long S. The Cyrillic letter usually has only a capital form, which is also used in lowercase text. Unlike most Latin script languages, which link the dotless uppercase I with the dotted lowercase I, Turkish has both a dotted and dotless I in upper and lower case. Each of the two pairs represent a distinctive phoneme. In some languages, specific digraphs may be regarded as a single letter. For example, in Slavic languages whose orthography is coordinated for the Cyrillic and Latin script, the Latin digraphs are each regarded as a single letter, but even when capitalized, the second part resembles a lowercase letter. Only in all caps style should both parts resemble a capital letter. In Dutch, the digraph IJ is capitalized as a single entity. In English, a name beginning with FF may be written in lowercase, for example in a P.G. Wodehouse story, A Slice of Life. Wilfred Mulliner must circumvent the nasty Sir Jasper Finch fair armourer to reach his love Angela. Related phenomena, similar orthographic and graphostylistic conventions are used for emphasis or following language-specific rules, including font effects such as italic type or oblique type, bold finesse, and choice of serif versus sans serif. Typographical conventions in mathematical formulae include the use of Greek letters and the use of Latin letters with special formatting such as blackboard bold and black letter. Letters of the Arabic alphabet and some Jamo of the Korean Hangul have different forms for initial or final placement, but these rules are strict and the different forms cannot be used for emphasis. In Georgian, some authors use isolated letters from the ancient Asomtavruli alphabet within a text otherwise written in the modern Medruli in a fashion that is reminiscent of the usage of uppercase letters in the Latin, Greek, and Cyrillic alphabets. In the Japanese writing system, an author has the option of switching between kanji, hiragana, katakana, and romaji. In particular, every hiragana character has an equivalent katakana character, and vice versa. Because this resembles the Latin alphabet's two cases, Romanized Japanese sometimes uses lowercase letters to represent words that would be written in hiragana, and uppercase letters to represent words that would be written in katakana. Some kana syllabograms can be written in smaller type when they modify or combine with the preceding sign.